So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, housekeeping, we know where the restrooms are, silence your phones, we're gonna do this like we always do. And first, we are gonna get started with the roll call. Oh, sorry, interpretation, excuse me, interpretation of. There is my.
Yeah, would you be able to come up and speak into the mic for the interpretation?
Hola, mi nombre es Feliz, seré la intérprete para el español si es que alguien necesita para las logísticas de la interpretación. Así es que necesitan acceder a un intérprete, una reunión virtual usando la aplicación de Zoom, ya sea la versión del escritorio del teléfono, haga clic en el icono de interpretación. La versión del escritorio, revise la parte inferior de la ventana de Zoom, en el celular toque la pantalla para ver los controles, luego toque el menú más. Elija su canal de idioma, seleccione el audio original. Y nada más con los consejos, asegúrense de utilizar la aplicación Zoom, no el navegador, por el sitio web. Y asegúrense de utilizar la versión más reciente de Zoom. ¿Does anyone need an interpreter? ¿Alguien necesita un intérprete en español?
Thank you.
Gracias.
All right, and now we will go ahead and pass it over to the facilitator to review all of our rules and reminders.
Thank you, Morgan, y gracias, Ellie. So my name is Britta Relevance. I'll be your facilitator tonight. I missed y'all when I was gone the last two meetings out sick. So I'm happy to be back and, happy new year to everyone. Happy 2026. Looking forward to seeing what the steering committee accomplishes in the new year. Hopefully we'll see some really great results from all the work that you all have been doing in this space. So, I'll just go over some in-person reminders and logistics before we dive in. As a reminder, this is a hybrid meeting, so we do have some steering committee members online. We'll be sure to be mindful when having steering committee discussion so that we can make sure and include those virtual members. And for our steering committee members here in person, as a friendly reminder, you have these name placards in front of you. So when you have a question or comment, please flip it vertically. That way we know to call on you and can call on those hands in the order that we see placards raised. For our steering committee members online, if you could please raise your virtual hand or put your comment in the chat, we'll be monitoring that so we can be sure to include you in conversation and call on you whenever you have a question or comment. In terms of the order of questions and comments, so this is our standard protocol. We'll do steering committee in person, then steering committee online, public in person, and public online. In terms of virtual logistics, if anyone has any issues online, you can feel free to email the clerk, and participants who are members of the public will have the opportunity to speak during public comment. So we will be prioritizing steering committee participation first, but there will be opportunities throughout for the public as well. And there's some instructions on the screen if you're on the phone. So this is our charter code of conduct. Everyone who is here agrees to abide by the charter. And this is sort of standard for us. So, you know, I think the main things we want to emphasize is we're all really excited to be here and passionate about air quality. And in order to listen to everyone and have the space for everyone to talk, we want to avoid interruption. That will also help interpretation if there are people online who are hearing that in another language. And we will just listen courteously, hold each other accountable, and strive for solutions. Now with those standard reminders out of the way, I'll quickly review the agenda and then we'll dive into roll call. So this is our standard agenda. We will do a round of community events if there are any, approve the meeting summary. This is the meeting where we will do co-lead, final call for co-lead nominations, and voting starts tonight, although it goes through the week. Then we'll hear our district and outreach subcommittee updates. There's an action item, so steering committee will be voting. You'll hear more about that later. The bulk of our time tonight is going to be spent in discussion, really talking a lot about the SERP, outreach for the SERP, pools, etc. Then we'll go over new business, upcoming meeting topics, public comments are at the end, and then we will adjourn. So before I pass it to Morgan for roll call, are there any community events that folks would like to announce? Yes, Morgan.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. On January the 31st, which is this Saturday at Rainbow Mini Park, we will be having our annual plant celebration and community giveaway. So we'll have plant swap tables, seed swap tables, environmental organizations, community resource providers there, as well as we'll have a free community giveaway, which consists of all types of supplies, whether it is clothes, household items, baby items, just to promote sustainability and giving within the community. We have about over 42 resource providers confirmed so far. So please come out. And we have chickens there too, so you can come meet our chickens.
Thanks, Morgan. Any other community events to share? I think I see Richard. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Richard Falcone here. Not related to anything with the AB 617 on such, but wanted to at least announce and let folks know, if you don't already know, NorCal Resist is reaching out to community. Tomorrow is a very, very important day at City Hall. Agenda item 14 is to review the current policies related to our sanctuary city status, especially in light of everything that has been going on here nationally and of course with our allies in Minneapolis. And so we are looking for as many people as possible to show up to City Hall tomorrow for the 2 p.m. Meeting to speak on behalf of Agenda 14, demanding that the city electeds strengthen our current city sanctuary city statuses and policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Any other community events to share? Looking to see online hands, not seeing any in person. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Morgan for steering committee roll call.
Okay, so we are going to do roll call. When I call your name, if you can please respond with present, aye, or yes. Alicia Pascas Caballo.
Here.
Barry Boyd. Barry Boyd. Barry, we acknowledge that you're here, but if you could, when you get a chance, unmute and let us know you're present. Arturo Arroyo.
Present.
Bishop Chris Baker.
Here.
Diogene Gunn. Adam Swan. Jacob Smalls.
Here.
Jamala Green.
Present.
James Allison.
Present.
Lori Walker.
Present.
Malia Wallace. Morgan Brown is present. Brenda Moreno. Richard Falcone.
Here.
Richard Lincoln.
Here.
Ward Winchell. Roberto Rizzo.
Here.
Serena Rodriguez. Stephanie Williams. Tito. Vincent Valdez.
Here.
Hey, Morgan, I'm here.
Okay, and we got Barry. Barry Boyd.
Oh, Angie. We're missing somebody from roll call.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Israel. Angie Israel.
Oh, yeah, on here, but not on the vote.
And Angie Israel. All right, well, that makes quorum at 16?
Sorry, 16 total.
Okay, sorry, that makes quorum at 8, but we have 16 here total present. We also want to thank the Air District, as well as the city of Elk Grove and Valley Vision for being present as well.
Yeah, you can just vote. Okay, thanks for those introductions. I'm just gonna pass it right back to Roberto to do the approval of the meeting summary.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Roberto Rizzo, one of my colleagues, and I would like to ask for a motion to approve last month's meeting summary.
Make a motion to accept last month's summary.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, should we do roll call?
Just make sure.
Do Carter.
Janet? Okay, excellent. We're gonna go ahead and do the vote. So I'm gonna start with Angie Israel. Actually, Angie, I'm gonna do, you're gonna go fast so you know how we do it. Is this your first time voting? No? You, okay, never mind. Apologies. Angie Israel. Alicia Pagas Carvalho. Very Boy.
Aye.
Bishop Chris Baker. Diogene Gunn. Emma Swan. Jacob Smalls.
Sustain.
Okay, thank you. Jamala Green.
Aye.
James Allison.
Aye.
Lori Walker.
Aye.
Malia Wallace. Morgan Brown.
Aye.
Richard Falcone.
Yes,
Richard Falcone.
yes. I get 2 votes.
I know, Richard Lincoln. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Roberto Rizzo, yes. I was here, I was trying to think who was here. Serena Rizos is not here, Stephanie Williams, joined. Tito,
Yes, sir.
Vincent.
Yes.
Great. Motion passes.
And we also want to thank the Air Resource Board for being here as well. My apologies. Couldn't do it without you.
Okay, so that leads us into co-lead nominations and voting procedures. So we're gonna go over some procedures and protocol, and then we'll move into it, especially since we have some new steering committee members who haven't voted before. So we want to make sure the public and the new members understand the process here. Okay, so this is coming from the charter. So as a friendly reminder, if the steering committee in the future, not this year, because that opportunity just passed, or not last year, if the steering committee wants to change the charter, you can do so, just not at this time. But this is from the charter. So the co-leads duties include, but are not limited to, taking the role as meeting chairs during the meetings, as Roberto and Morgan model for us. The co-leads will meet and work with the district and facilitators to review recommendations for agenda items to co-develop those meeting agendas. The co-leads will help communicate information related to the steering committee to the committee members. And the co-leads will work with the district and facilitator to plan and coordinate meeting activities and discussions to ensure that the meetings are informative and productive. And I think I want to add to that, in line with community desires. So before we go into the nominations and voting procedures, I just want to mention as well that, you know, in addition to those duties listed, there's a time commitment. Those duties do include, you know, meeting with the district and facilitators, doing a good amount of additional work. And that it's really up to the co-leads to determine what that looks like as well. So it's designed by the co-leads. So in terms of nominations and voting procedures, we've already received some nominations, and we will be receiving more nominations tonight if folks choose to make additional nominations. So that would be made during this administrative item where we're at right now. And after a nomination is made, the nomination would have to be accepted by the member who has been nominated during this item and prior to voting. So if you put someone up for a nomination, they can say yes, or they can say no. And that would need to happen right now before voting. So people can vote for up to 2 names. So per the charter, there could be 2 co-leads, no more, no less. And in terms of how you all can vote tonight, steering committee members, if you look inside your folder, there is a paper ballot in there. There's also a ballot box in the back if you'd like to vote tonight. There's also an opportunity to vote online, and voting does go through 5 p.m. on January 30th. So make sure that you would like to get that, make sure to get that in by that date and time, because then the Air District will count those votes and then send out results of the election via email. So as folks are nominated, once they accept that nomination, if they're then voted in, that means they're voted in. No further action is needed on their behalf. Are there any questions? Sorry, can we go back one second? Thank you. Are there questions about the nominations and voting procedures before we go over who's been nominated? Once again, I want to emphasize this process is new for some people, so if there are questions, I want to make sure we're able to answer them. Okay. We can review who's been nominated so far. So, oh, and I see Barry raised his hand actually. Barry, please come ahead and unmute and speak your question or statement.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Yes, I do have a question. I heard you, I just want to make sure I was following you. So we are voting via electronically, and we're not voting in person in our monthly meeting?
Thank you for the question, Barry. So there's 2 different ways to vote. So people who are in person can vote in person or online, and people who are online, unless they come in person, can only vote online. Voting is open through the 30th at 5 p.m. Did that answer your question?
No. Okay, so for voting through the 30th of January, so you're asking for whoever's in person today is to vote today, and or they can hold their vote and electronically submit a vote on the 30th of January?
Up to the 30th, yeah. So people can vote in person tonight or online anytime from now until the 30th at 5 p.m. So it's kind of rolling until that point.
I have a question too, and then I'll get off. Is this the
Okay.
same procedure as we have been doing? And
Yeah,
because I'm not excuse me, my memory just isn't kicking in that we are having a vote post an in-person meeting or post a monthly meeting to which everyone, the public included, watches in real time the nomination and the votes. Not all nominations, because they can be prior to the meeting, but the vote happening not at the monthly meeting is suspect, my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for expressing your opinion. I can confirm that this is the exact same process that we did last year. And I am not sure about the years prior to that because I was not the facilitator, but I can let the Air District confirm. I do know that while voting can take place in person, I know that the reason for allowing it after the meeting was, just to accommodate folks and make sure that everyone who is a steering committee member can vote even if they're unable to come in person. So it was like an accessibility, improvement.
Have a vote last year because we really took out the.
Okay, I'm gonna pass to Morgan, who has a comment.
Okay, and I think that the process may have been slightly different last year because there were only 2 nominations. As opposed to there being 3.
The window.
Yeah, so how the window itself worked, I believe was the same, again, I don't, yeah. We can look at our paperwork for that, but, like I said, I know the process is gonna be different this time around because there's more than 2 people we're voting for now.
Just to clarify, the process is the same, the outcome is just different because there was 2 nominations last year and this year there's 3. So while the voting was open for, the same amount of days, it was more clear what the outcome would be preemptively because there were only 2 nominations, but we have the same process. Okay, any other questions from steering committee members about how this works or any other items related to voting? Okay. Great. So in terms of accepted nominations, we do have 3 folks who are nominated and have accepted their nominations. Their names are on the screen and I will read them aloud. We have Richard Falcone, Roberto Rizzo, and Tito Wong, who have accepted their nominations. At this time, I would like to ask the steering committee if there are any other nominations that you would like to make. And as a reminder, you can self-nominate or nominate someone else, although they have to accept the nomination to be considered.
Where's it again?
Yes, Barry, I see your hand. Please come ahead and unmute.
Thank you. Quick question. Stacy, oh, hold on one second. I'm looking for her name. Had just Stacy Kawabata. Sorry if I'm butchering the last name. Had just sent in the chat Charter 2024 amended. Never mind. Sorry. My bad reading. But yes, I would like to nominate now I forgot his name. Sorry, young brother. The Jacob Smalls.
Okay, thank you for the nomination, Barry, and a good reminder that the charter is in the chat for anyone who'd like to view it or download it. It is also on the Air District website. So I did hear a nomination for Jacob Smalls. Jacob, do you accept the nomination? I was assuming that you were thinking about it, but you may have been on mute if you were speaking, Jacob. In case you missed it, Jacob, you were nominated by Barry as a co-lead, and in order to move forward, we need to know whether you accept or reject your nomination.
I'm sorry, I just got back from the bathroom. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. I figured you may have stepped away. So, I read out the folks who have accepted their nominations, and then I asked the steering committee if there are any additional nominations for co-lead. Barry did nominate you, and I would like to know if you would like to accept the nomination or decline the nomination to be considered for co-lead for the next year.
What does that entail?
So if we could go back, I don't remember if it's 1 or 2 slides. Yeah, so, this, on the screen right here is the co-lead roles per the charter. Stacy did also put the charter in the chat. But the co-leads right now are Morgan and Roberto, so, their duties include what's on screen and, you know, additional duties that are determined by co-leads as well. So if the co-leads determined to meet outside of co-lead prep meetings, you know, take on additional duties, that is also up to the co-leads themselves, but these are the duties and role, as determined by the charter on screen. And this would be for, the 2026 year.
Can I think about it?
Unfortunately, this decision has to be made, right now during this administrative item.
Okay. I would like to decline.
Good fucking shit.
Yeah, that is totally fine. Thank you for your decision.
Thank you for the offer and the recommendation.
Mhm. Are there any other nominations that folks would like to make? All right, so we have our 3 nominations that have been accepted, 1 nomination declined. So the names on the screen are still correct. Final call for nominations, and if not, we will move into the opportunity to hear from our nominees. All right, so we did do this last year as well, pretty informal, so no pressure. Folks who have been nominated, if you would like to talk as to why you believe you should be the co-lead or why you would like to be a co-lead, we'd like to invite you to do so. So I will give, if you accept that you would like to, you know, just give a little spiel, talk a little bit about why you'd like to be co-lead, I'll give you a minute. And then we will hear from, up to all 3, if all 3 would like to talk, before we end that discussion, and move into the next sort of phase, which is just a reminder of voting. Okay, so I'm just gonna go straight down the line. Richard, would you like to speak at all about why you should be considered for co-lead or why you'd like to?
Thank you very much, Richard Falcone here. Thank you very much for the nomination. For myself, really, it's an honor to even be considered for this particular position. I do consider myself a fighter and have worked in community for a number of years. I also come at my work with the heart and the thinking process of an artist, because that is my first love is the arts. And so I come at everything with a sense of creativity, especially when we're looking at solutions for things that can be particularly problematic, which is exactly why we are all here, to look at creative solutions. And I think the Air Quality Management District would say that I have not been shy about bringing forward any challenges I may have faced and disagreements that we might have had. But again, it's through those conversations that we have been able to proceed as we have. So thank you very much. And regardless of the outcome, I'm still going to be here for the long haul. Let's bring this Serpent to the finish line and get that squared away. And thank you again.
Thank you so much, Richard. You did a great job staying on time. Okay, next I'd like to invite Roberto, if you'd like to say anything.
Hi, everyone. My name is Roberto Rizzo. I am one of the colleagues right now. I accepted the nomination and I would like to continue to be the colleague because I would like to continue the work we started. I feel like in the past year, we've been able to accomplish a lot, together. A lot of that had to do with having, Morgan as my partner and working really closely with the district. And I just want to continue to do that work and see it through. I believe that I make a difference and I want to continue making that difference alongside you all. You know that I care. I try to be here as much as I can. So again, also like Richard, regardless of the outcome, I'm gonna continue to be here and I'm gonna continue to work with whoever the colleague is elected. So thank you and thank you for the support.
Thank you, Roberto. Okay, Tito, would you like to say a few words?
Man, it's hard to follow those footsteps. You guys hear me?
All right, thank you, guys. It's been an honor to be nominated, Vincent, my third or fourth time, I can't keep track of it. I like to be the bridesmaid and the best man, I don't want to be the guy in charge, but I think at the end of the day, I've been with you guys since day one. I have a community that depends on me, two young kids, 53 years old, got a successful business, couple of restaurants, but this is my heart and soul. This is where I'm at, right? This is what makes me come here on the first day of tax season so that my voice, my community can have a voice and representation. And so regardless, I know that we're in good hands with this team, with the previous team. I support you guys wholeheartedly, whoever it is in charge. We're co-partners in so many ways. And so I'm just honored to be nominated again, but regardless, I'm here to offer some insight, perspective, maybe some thoughts that we don't normally have with our folks like myself who are part of the immigrant and refugee community. And I think we're on a stretch of getting things done and bringing it home, and I'm hoping able to deliver that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito. How great is that to hear such supportive words from all the nominees, no matter what the outcome is? It's just great to see the collaboration that y'all have undertaken. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. So as another reminder, you can vote at any point tonight in person or from 5 minutes ago until 5 p.m. on January 30th virtually. You can do so by emailing ab617clerk@airquality.org. And just please, a reminder to get that vote in by 5 p.m. on the 30th. And as another reminder, the results of the election will be emailed out. And our next steering committee meeting will have our new co-leads, and there will also be a transition period if they're with Morgan and potentially Roberto, depending on how the results are. So look forward to that. Thank you for your votes that you will be doing. And we can go ahead and move on to our next item. So moving on to updates, just noting we are a little bit behind schedule, but I think we can get back on. I will invite Jaime to provide some updates on behalf of the Air District.
Good evening, everybody. One of the updates we wanted to share was that Janice and I and our agency team is working with the SMUD team to see about getting a tour of the power plant on 47th Ave. And so one of the things we're looking at is having the tour potentially in April. And so this would be a general tour, education about what the power plant does, how power is served, and then kind of the pieces of equipment that are also there at the facility. What we want to know from you is, when do you think that is better for all of you for the steering committee? Would that be a tour that could be better served in the evening after hours, or during the weekend, or even during business hours? And so that's some feedback that we would like to get from the steering committee to see what is best for you, so then we can work with SMUD on organizing the day and the times for that.
Any thoughts from steering committee members? Okay, I saw Morgan's hand first and then Vincent.
preferably before the end of April, so I can go. So let's go with that. And I'll just say for me, it is always, at the person, it's always easier daytime. Weekend, not so much evening, I can still accommodate, but I'd say for me, weekdays and evenings. And before April the 23rd.
Note that came before April 23rd.
Great. And Vince, I see you're getting a mic passed to you.
Yes, and that's a good comment, because it'll be daytime, it would be nice to do the tour in daylight hours. I don't know if daylight savings hits prior to that or not, but that would be important and a weekday. My question is a concern of, we're gonna be visiting the SMUD cogeneration plant, but as we've learned, the largest polluter in this community is the canning facility that is still there on site. Will we be touring that as well?
No, right now the schedule is only, well, the effort has been, from what we have heard from this steering committee, is for the plant, the Christmas power plant. But to correct you, the biggest polluting sector is transportation, none of the facilities, Vincent.
Yeah, I meant the biggest industry in the community.
No, I think the biggest industry, David, correct me, or Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, is the Smith Power Plant, not Capital Commerce itself?
No, there's a canning facility that still operates there. That's
Silgan,
the
Silgan,
Title IX, that's a Title IX facility.
so our engineering and compliance division manager, Amy Roberts, says that, that the Silgan Can facility is a Title IX facility, but they're different pollutants. Title V, sorry.
Okay. So we're not gonna be touring that site.
No, from what we have heard was that the efforts would be on the power plant.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts on date time preference? It sounds like so far we've heard daytime and weekday or evening after hours. But that evening after hours, I think, was made before Vincent said daytime would be good to see the emissions. Yes,
And before April 23rd.
correct, before April 23rd. Roberta?
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I would love to tour that facility. Those are so cool. Check, how energy is made. There is the sewer facility in our expanded boundaries. Would it be possible to tour that? And would that fall into the pollutants that we're trying to lower within the district?
Well, I think, in general, if I can, the other division directors are here, but in general, I think we are trying to make an effort to reduce all the pollutants from all the facilities, right? And I think we can go back to, Silgan Can facility and also to, Sac Sewer to see about putting a tour together. It just takes a little longer since they're bigger entities, and so we've been already in the efforts with SMUD. And so first we would target SMUD, and then potentially, later in the year, we could target the others as well.
Okay, thank you. The reason I bring it up, it's because, and we're gonna be talking about this later in the agenda, but we do have to think about how we're gonna do outreach for the CERT. And I feel like doing these tours and getting photo opportunities and meeting with, community leaders and elected officials that see boards for these organizations could help us get the word out. And if we can help as colleagues, we'd love to do that as well.
David, you take note for Silgan Can and Sac Sewer.
And then I saw Barry's hand online. Barry?
Thank you. Jaime, has SMUD given any restrictions on the tour time, or they left it open completely for us?
They've left it open. They wanted to see what the steering committee, had to say first.
Right on. And so it's anytime, of course, post to date, but for Morgan prior to April 1st, with that daytime, so we can see if it works better for everybody on a weekend. Okay, well, let's choose a weekend, or if it's a weekday, let's do a weekday. To Vincent's point, there's no sense, my opinion, to go out there in the dark. Thank you.
It's an energy field.
Any more conversation on weekend versus weekday? Because I heard weekday during business hours.
For daylight.
Your daylight.
Or daylight.
Oh, I did not see that, placard up. Please come ahead. I think you're getting a mic.
I do agree, during the day would be a really good time, especially just seeing see how everything works. I mean, night, it just makes it easier to see. And, I forgot my train of thought, but will it be just the committee itself, or would it be like the open comment with other people also witnessing, how it would work?
So far, the efforts are only with the steering committee.
Vincent, is that a new hand? Okay,
And I'd like to add the City Corporation Yard on 24th Street as another site that we've been talking about for the last 2 years. We would love to be able to go see that as well.
thank you, Vincent. I think David is noting these down, and so is Elizabeth. So we have a written record of the request for additional exploration. I'm just reminding everyone what Jaime said about the size of orgs and it taking time to coordinate these things. So, please continue to advocate for, locations and give their districts some patience as they wrangle entities down for tours. Did you have additional updates?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jaime. Next, I'll pass it to Morgan to provide an outreach subcommittee update. And just another note, we're still running late, which is fine, but just noting that so we can try and be succinct, although we're having really rich conversation. So we'll continue to strive to find that balance.
Okey-dokey, so we are gonna jump right into the outreach subcommittee updates. I promise you I can catch us up a couple minutes. At our outreach subcommittee meeting, we did have Valley Vision, present on the, CAG planning meetings. We discussed the different committees, and different responsibilities around some of these things. We also discussed the circulated release, as far as our draft, which was released on January 16th, with strategies being available in Spanish and will be available in Hmong, Vietnamese, and Farsi. We also had a conversation regarding the CERT flyer and the FAQ flyer. And as usual, we discussed the encouragement for our members to attend all of our events, as well as sharing CERT information amongst the community. One of the things that did come up was the Lunar New Year Festival, in which there was a vote that was recommended for the steering committee to participate in this year's festival. Did I breeze through that, David? So upcoming events. Upcoming events. We have the Clean Air Partnership Luncheon, which is this Friday from 12 to 1:30. So I believe that tickets are still available to go online and register to show up. Also, we have the CERT workshop, which will be virtual, which is on January 31st, which I believe runs from 10 to 12 on Saturday. And then preceding that, we will have the Color Block is having their annual plant celebration. We are working to acquire enough power and a projector to be able to actually have this workshop live in one of our booths during our festival as well. So that way, during our celebration as well. So that way, people that do choose to attend our event are still able to see the workshop as well. And the Lunar New Year Festival is taking place from February the 14th to the 15th.
Elk Grove Community.
At
Elk Grove Community Park.
At Elk Grove Community Park. Which now brings us to our next action item, which it brings us to our next action item, which is the vote to approve the tabling fee for the Lunar New Year Festival. However, amongst conversations with the co-leads, the conversation, sorry, we go to the next slide. So here are the details for it. And it is actually, so Alright, so, the tabling fee, which is 300, which is a discounted fee from our gracious leader, Mr. Tito. And if approved, it will be paid out of our outreach funds. Why we are having this conversation is because there was previous perceived conflict of interest in the past, so that's why we're bringing it to be a vote. Based on one of our current steering committee members being also part of this committee. Just so that way there was transparency in what I was gonna say. In the future, one of the things that we thought about was making sure that, for equitable purposes, we pay the full fee in the future. But we appreciate the discount, we'll move forward with what we already agree with. So this now is, it leads for, conversation and discussion from the steering committee on approving this item.
We have conversation first.
So I'll just give a reminder for the protocol for voting. It's a new year, we still have some new members. It's a good reminder for all of us. So, Morgan gave sort of the item presentation. And then we will hear a motion, to approve the paying the tabling fee for Lunar New Year. There will be a second. The steering committee discusses. I will ask for public comment on the motion. So it's on the motion itself. And then if there is public comment, then the steering committee gets to discuss again whether they want to amend the motion or move forward with the motion as previously discussed. So consider the public comment, and then the vote will happen as a roll call vote. So Morgan went over the details, and just as a reminder, can we go back to that slide, please? Just because we went through it a little fast, which was great, but there was back and forth discussion about the fee. So the co-leads are proposing that we as in the steering committee, outreach funds, pay the $300, and then in the future, pay the full amount. And then we wanted to note that in the past, in steering committee discussion, there was question about whether it was a conflict of interest. The Air District legal team investigated that, and they found that in these instances, it's not self-serving because it is a benefit for the community. So they ruled there's no conflict of interest, but in transparency, we are re-bringing up that potential perception just because it's come to people's minds before, and we want to be transparent about where we're at now, where we've come from, and just make sure we're all on the same page about that. So, before we ask for a motion, just because this has been a long-winded, action item, I want to see if there's any questions about that. No questions. Okay, so I'm gonna pass it back to Morgan to lead, the calling for the vote and the vote itself.
So since we have no discussion, does anybody want to, provide a motion to vote on this item?
I make a motion that we vote to have a table at the Lunar New Year Festival this year.
And I
With-
second it.
With the amounts that were just listed on the slide,
The 300?
yes.
Okay, so we have a motion to proceed forward with the 300 to have a table for the steering committee. And we have a second. And now we will go to public comment.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Adrian Rand of Valley Vision. How much money do you guys have in your outreach account right now? Just curious. That might.
Look in the pocket. What do you want? Okay.
Very good question, Adrian. Thank you.
We don't have that amount readily available. We could get that information and provide next, but we do have more to do.
When do we have?
When could we have a updated accounting on the balance and outreach funds?
Hold up, probably, from one of our last meetings where we I don't know if on the screen. Oh, that was it, that was all.
We could get a amount from, the macro partnership with holding the funds.
Okay, so if that satisfies public comment, is there any further steering committee questions or comments?
Okay, I just want to make a comment that I made this motion at the outreach subcommittee meeting because, and we had a discussion. I attended, the last two Lunar New Year festivals and, we were very well received. I tabled right next to the Air District, who was there, I believe last year. And, everybody was coming to our tables and talking, and then people were talking about air quality, health risks, and the problems associated with it. We had scientists, doctors, we had teachers, we had students who recognized some of the schools we had on the pictures that we talked about. And so it was a very, very good event, an excellent event, and a great one for us to get out and get a lot of public comment on the last day of our public comment period. For the Air District work on. Thank you.
And if there's no other steering committee comments, we can move forward with voters. Yes, thank you. Okay. Alicia Passos Caballo? So we're moving forward, sorry, we're moving forward with voting to approve the tabling fee of 300 for the steering committee for the Lunar New Year Festival, February 14th to the 15th in Elk Grove. Okay, that's a yes. Barry Boyd?
Abstain.
Bishop Chris Baker? Diogene Gunn? M. Swan? Jacob Smalls?
Oh, sustained.
Jamala Green?
Yes.
James Allison?
Yes.
Lori Walker?
Yes.
Malia Wallace? Morgan Brown, yes. Richard Falcone?
Yes.
Richard Lincoln?
Yes.
Roberto Rizzo?
Yes.
Serena Rodriguez? Stephanie Williams? Tito?
I have to abstain.
Vincent Valdez?
Yes.
And Angie Israel?
Approved.
So that is 12 yes, 4 abstain, and the motion passes.
Hearing notification. Okay, so then that moves us into our discussion items. So we have more to talk about with SERP. So I'm going to pass to Roberto to talk more about the draft SERP release, timeline, materials, all exciting stuff.
Thank you. Okay, if you've been to the subcommittee meetings, you know that we have finally published the draft SERP and we're waiting for public comments. We've requested all these materials and we've had all these questions for the districts, and now it's time to deliver for us, for the district, for us to pass that document around to the people that we know that are gonna need to read it, and that can provide comments on it. So one of the asks that we have of you all is to at least think of 3 people that you can pass it to. Because if each person can leave a comment, because David, do you have the number of how many comments we've received so far?
We haven't received any comments.
Okay, and it's been open for about 2 weeks now. on
Yes,
Friday.
open for 2 weeks now.
So it would be a shame if we don't get any community members to participate in. And I know that we usually, when we think about community members, we want to think about us being out in public, passing around information so that people can actually comment on the document. But that doesn't necessarily have to be true. We can send it to people specifically and ask them, hey, I need you to read the document, please, provide feedback. We are also tracking the numbers of how many people have visited the site. Do you have those by chance?
Yes, the draft server itself, as of 1:30 today, there are about 94 people who has clicked on it.
94 people. We don't know how long they're spending on the website. We don't know if they're downloading it, right? But we know that 94 people have visited and not commented on. So it's still open for 2 more weeks. So we just need to figure out a way, if we can comment on it also, right? Because I'm sure that we haven't read it fully. So let's take the time. I mean, it's our responsibility. We are rewarded to be here. We represent a specific area. I represent, my neighborhood and the 8 blocks around my area, because the next 8 blocks belong to Richard. We're neighbors. So please share it. Also, if the city, card, you're part of this, you've been with us all along, please send it to your neighbors, and let's just get it going. Actually, I wanted to propose, having a goal, like really having 3 people. Like, think of 3 people, even within your own household, that can read this document and provide comments. As government, this is kind of what we are. This is one of the biggest issues that we have. We're disengaged, but we're also not making a big effort. So we talk about outreach, we talk about, the district is not doing enough. It's time for us to do enough. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Roberto. So David will now talk more about the timeline, where to find this document, and other materials. Oh, I did not, thank you. That was hiding behind the owl. I missed it. Vincent, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Roberto. I appreciate that. I know it's been out for a couple of weeks, but I thought we were gonna have like a condensed version to share with people or something like that, because me and Lori are looking at it right now, and it's a 225 page document, 280 page with all the appendixes, and so I just was curious on what
Yeah, so there's other materials.
strategies that we could, or documents that we can take to people and share with them, and so where do we find those?
David is also going to present on that.
That's a great question. It's a very valid question. And that is exactly why the beginning of last year, we divided ourselves in teams, because nobody can handle this on their own. Nobody can read this on their own. And thank you for reminding me. I feel like we should pay attention. I know, for example, Tito is a perfect example. He has commercial, it's gonna be important to him in his community, right? So if he can reach out to people and specifically say, hey, look at the commercial plan that we have, the strategies. Is this good enough? How would you change it? How would you improve them? Yes, we want them to look at the other strategies also, but if we can be very specific in what they know about, right? So like I honestly, I think that's the best approach, because I'm not an expert on, design or commercial either. So we just have to be strategic. Yeah, and I think the FAQs is out, the frequently asked questions. We reviewed that. It's human centered now. It's very simple to read, but it's a really good call. So we need some stuff.
It's also. Yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because David is going to present on these, but just for the steering committee members, just so you know, these documents we're talking about are in your folder. So without further ado, I'll pass to David to go over where you can find these online and what resources we have. Because Vincent did make a really great point that for the average community member, a 280-page document is not a good undertaking. It's not achievable. So David's going to talk more about some other alternatives that we have that are nice and bite-sized.
Thank you for the question. Tito had a question where you can find the document. So before we go into that, I would just like to just go over the timeline real quick. So we have, as Roberto mentioned, we released our document on January 16, and when we released it, we also sent an email to you all with the information, the link to the document, the link to the STR map, which summarizes, the draft STR and the FAQ. Right, so I just wanted to share this information out in this meeting so that it's also available to the public. Public comment is on February 15th. As we were receiving the comments, we'll look at it and then sharing those comments to the steering committee, because we'll be working together to resolve, right, to provide responses to those comments. So public comment closes on the 15th, and we get comments before then, we'll bring it to the February outreach subcommittee meetings. Definitely we'll bring all the comments to the February 23rd meeting, and start working on responses to those comments. If we get a lot of comments, and if we don't have time to respond to all those comments in our, the monthly meeting or the subcommittee meeting, then we'll need to probably have another meeting so that we can address all the comments that we receive. So that's just, kind of a backup there.
Just as a point of information, for folks, can you confirm that we are required to respond to all the comments?
We would like to respond to all the comments.
Okay, thank you.
And then on March 23rd will be the final cert vote from the steering committee. Next slide, please. And then quarter 2 is when we'll take it through our district process, post it online, and then bring it to our board in May for the district board approval. And then in June, we'll submit the whole plan, the plan to CARB. Next slide, please. So, like I said, we released a draft document, right, the draft STR, just the search for a map and the sort of FAQs. And I can show you guys where it's at on our webpage, so you guys have access to it. Let's give this a second photo. So if you go to the Air District webpage, go to the main page, Leah. The main Air District page. Yes.
You have to scroll up.
So we go to the main Air District webpage, we click on the community air protection icon. That brings you to our landing page for the community air protection program. Top icon, yeah. And here on this page is where the public notice lives. There's also in 4 different languages: Spanish, Vietnamese, Hmong, and Farsi. So you click on those bit.ly links, and it gives you those translated public notices. In addition to that, the links below in the public notice, there's the draft STR. So you click on that link, it takes you directly to the draft STR document. As Vincent had mentioned, it is 295 pages long, with a lot of information in that document. And it's a little bit lagging. It should pop up. So you go back to it. And then we also created a story map, which summarizes the draft STR. So you click on that, yeah, so this is a story map, summarizes everything in that document. So if you scroll down, it takes you to the introduction, the partner engagement, the community profile, the technical information, with the mission inventory and the air monitoring data. And then also, the different strategies that was created, right, by the committee. There's also the tabs on top where you could go directly to those sections, and you can scroll through it. So this is another tool for the steering committee to use to help share this information out. You go back to that page. In addition, you know, as Ray mentioned, there's the FAQ. That is at the end of this, public notice. So this was providing in your, materials. Here's a direct link, that you could, click on, use the QR code to get, us directed to that page. So sorry for that lag with the internet. Go to the main page, the that page. And then, on there also linked to the server workshop that's happening on Saturday, and also the Cleaner Air Partnership Luncheon that's happening on the 30th, that was mentioned earlier. Next, you go back to the presentation. Next slide. Yeah, so we all, the district, Janice and Jaime and team, we have been going out. We have worked out a outreach plan with the outreach subcommittee, and we've been implementing that outreach plan. This includes us going to the neighborhood associations, you know, the PBIS. We're gonna hit up the different chambers, and also other community organizations. As requested by the colleagues, you know, the colleagues wanted to have some time to discuss how, you know, the steering committee's individual contribution to the sub outreach. So with that, I'll pass it back to Roberto to have further discussion.
So open it up, right? It's basically, restating what I already said at the beginning, right? So it's our time. We've been working with the district, Morgan and I, to put together documents. I mean, we had Vince, Richard during the CERT meetings, really being outspoken about the things that we would need to make things easier for people to participate. There is no easy way, honestly. I feel like we just have to really pressure, or rely on the people that we know are gonna look at this stuff. Yeah, that's how I'd like to share and open it up for the group, see if you have any ideas.
Yeah, so we are super happy to take ideas. I think in addition to those, and before we dive into some of the ideas, I think the Color the Block interns Morgan can talk about some of the additional stuff that's going on there that's also related to some of the outreach. So I'm gonna pass it to Morgan. Perfect.
First, let's acknowledge and give flowers to all of our community members for the efforts that have already been put in. It's been a tremendous effort from a lot of you. Helping out. So as far as the interns that we have now from ARC, so their first assignment is for them to be working on some social media content to interview our steering committee members and highlight you all. So they will be reaching out to you all individually. Also, so we reach out to you individually. I will be having them come to the meetings as well, pulling you guys to the side to do little short snippet interviews. They'll be at the luncheon. So for those who'll be at the luncheon, they'll be pulling you guys to the side to do interviews, get some video content. And again, if we see you, we will likely be there at the Lunar New Year Festival, because we have them already slated to be there as well to capture content and help out with the steering committee. So yeah, so that's a big thing that, you know, we're really trying to do is really digitize and maximize you know, our younger audiences too, by speaking to different demographics and community members through another medium, specifically social media. So keep a listen out via phone, email, text. If you see a random number, it's probably one of my interns trying to reach out to you guys.
Thanks, Morgan. Yeah, so it's been a really big effort from. Oh, the owl stopped blocking me. Yeah, so it's been a great effort within the steering committee with the interns to do all this outreach. I look forward to hearing more ideas, and we'll dive into that. But I do want to call on Richard who kindly had his placard up and was blocked by the meeting owl, so I couldn't see. This keeps happening.
Thank you. Quick question. Because I know the Air Board works very, very hard at taking that 290 some odd page document and chunking it down to a story map, you know, as well, to kind of try to summarize things as well. I'm just kind of curious as to, just for my own benefit, how was it, did the same people who created the story map also create the full report so that they already knew the 290 some odd pages, and then say, based on these 290 some odd pages, here's these most pertinent items for the story map to be able to bring forward? Was it a different group? And the reason why I say that is because one of the things I'm going to do, just me, because I'm a crazy kind of guy like this. I'm actually gonna give you a 296 page document to ChatGPT, and I'm gonna tell it to chunk it down to 10 pages. And I'm gonna be real interested to see what it comes back with as highlights to it, and then kind of take it. I don't know if anybody else thinks that could be of value, but I just thought I'd give it a try and see what happens.
I can definitely add that to our list. But before I add that to our list and we really engage in this discussion, because we do have a good chunk of time to talk about, you know, what outreach the steering committee wants to do, how steering committee members as individuals can take that on. I did hear a question within that as well, which was really about the process for creating the story maps, and like the entities of responsibility. So first I'll pass it to David to talk about that from the district perspective.
Yeah, so the document in this format was created within my team. So just our staff, you know, Catherine and Thea are the, who's behind that work. But they work hand in hand in putting that together. Cool.
Okay, and we're ready and excited. If this squeaks, my apologies. Okay, so we heard from Richard, that, you know, a first maybe potential step in addition to the FAQ and the flyer is to take the draft cert, put it into ChatGPT, see what it comes up with, as sort of like a 10-page summary document. And I asked, once it's in that form, do you have ideas about, you know, how to send that within the community or what to do with it in terms of outreach?
Not at this time. I think for myself, it is more of an exercise to do a apples and oranges comparison between the story map and whatever that 10-page highlight can come through, because as much as AI gets different types of pros and cons in there, I'm not totally trusting of everything AI will come back. Just want to put that out there to everybody right away. But along those same lines, I think, and maybe it goes into this as well, in working with CAG as we start developing curriculums and things around all of this. And very much, I think, Morgan, what you're already talking about doing with your interns in there, I think there'd be a cool little thing for the, not a little thing, but a big thing, for many of the student groups out there to take, like, for example, the SALT group, Vince, over at Christian Brothers, for example, and to give them the 296 page document and say, what do you think about this? And let these little student groups that are out there, take the Valley High, for example, and just let these student groups out there say, give them a say into read it and come back and give us a 10-page summary. Just a thought.
Oh, work.
I think it would be cool. I think Valley High would love it.
Okay, great. So I heard another suggestion there to send the CERP to student groups for analysis as sort of an assignment to see how they distill it down. And within that, there would also be an opportunity for them to make public comment on it. And Lori, I saw your hand as well. If we can get you a mic.
I think that's a really good idea, but since we only have 2 weeks, do you have a suggestion on how we could get that done in 2 weeks?
Yes, take it right to the schools. I think each of us has people that we know within those schools and such that we work with directly, and I think it's just gonna be intentionality.
Do we have contact?
I've got a couple at Valley High, I've got a couple of Christian Brothers, but, just all in all, it's, like I say, we only have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be real interesting to see what that comes in. But the only reason why I came to the student groups is because since we're as part of CAG, we're talking about curriculums and things anyway in there, even if it's not to get the response within the 2 weeks, I think future, as we go through, implementation of the circuit of priorities, it's gonna provide more outreach and perhaps more participation by some of these students in the future.
And this is not including Morgan's people.
Correct, I don't think it does, no.
Okay, so I'm hearing discussion about information networks within the community, what connections we already have. I heard Richard say he has a few connections, Christian Brothers, he named off a few schools that, could be an information source for him. So I want us to think about what other information channels, networks do we have? I'm not sure which hand was first here. So yeah, let's start in the back.
So I believe I'm also.
I'm not sure if your mic is, maybe it is now. Go ahead.
I know
Yeah.
I'm also a resident at Sacramento Job Corps. So with us, we're also students and whatnot, so, big support from Miss Mava. She helped us even get into this committee. So we can ask her to get help from there since she's connected to different communities. We've gone to different schools. And even for group drives and whatnot, we can see if we can try and get flyers or papers passed out to the community.
Great idea. So, Job Corps, using the connections we have there and like that entire network. But then also I heard a really great call to include educational materials, the flyers, the FAQ, and see if those can be distributed at events as well. So thank you for that. And Morgan?
So individually, I guess just, I know we're saying like 2 weeks. I know for me, I was specifically asked to come speak at the California African American Economic Summit on Wednesday. And they specifically asked me to do it because they know that I sit on this committee. So I intend on using that platform as a space to actually connect the dots with how our health is connected with our economy and how not only how on the larger force when it comes to like workforce and employers and things like that, how they're not really acknowledging the correlation between both. So that's one of the big key topics that I asked for us to be able to highlight is where the disparities in air quality and health are at, and how big businesses can help to support that. And it will be televised, so we can put it on social media.
Thank you, Morgan. Okay, so not only are we hearing channels to go through, right? The schools, the Job Corps, that California African American Summit, but I heard Morgan also talk about messaging. So a key message is how health is connected to the economy. So taking the concept of the CERP and applying it to the audience that we're reaching out to. So great idea there. I've written it down and I'm including messaging in orange. So we have like routes to go. Mike went off. Routes to go are in blue and then messaging in orange. So as you're sharing your ideas, I'll pull them out if I don't hear it explicitly, but would love to hear more messaging and more routes. Is that a new hand or is that this? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's pass you over. I think. There. Yeah. Morgan, is there a mic?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Team effort. Thank you. I was also gonna say for colleges as well, I can do more research to see what we can do. Cause I know myself, I go to CRC Consumers River College and I like to visit Sac City. So I'll try and see from there, if we can have other clubs, African American groups or trios like for the community or like what's it called? It was like a landscape where they walked around, had nature walk and everything.
I think, okay, it's working, but they're all blinking. I think they're all needing new batteries perhaps. Okay, so I heard, going to CRC, going to Sac City, going to some local community colleges, doing some research to figure out clubs, interest groups, like different organizations of people and distributing information through them. Okay, I think we can just come down the line here and then we'll go this way since we have so many, exciting.
You're next.
Check that one. Make it easy.
Go ahead.
Got one.
Just to kind of piggyback on what she said, while I'm still in high school, I also do attend CRC and it's super interactive when we walk around campus and there are tables, there are people set up and stuff, and then you can open campus, so not closed off or anything. And I do know for people like, from like what the 21s, 22s, 23s down to like even the 15-year-olds, it's not gonna work unless it's simple, unless it's like easily understood, and unless it only takes like 2 minutes, like I think things are really, really, really short, especially like with Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all that stuff. Like, if it's not simple, they're not gonna wanna, keep going, and if it doesn't catch your eye, if it's not fun, if there's no like funky music playing, people like, hey, come find out about this and that. If it's not super interactive, it's not gonna work, So I think with the short time limit, making it simple but not dumbed down, making it serious. I feel like nowadays while there are crazy things going on, for people younger, it's kind of easy to ignore, because there's so many different things on social media and so many different areas and lanes where you could be to where you don't have to see all the real stuff. But when we, come and simplify it, but also at the same time, keep it, not to be melodramatic, but keep it like true and like, and as fierce as it really is, it makes it a lot more inspiring, a lot more impactful.
Thank you. So I heard a key message there as simple and interactive, noting like this goes back to audience, right? You're talking about the age group that's there, the distractions they have, the attention span, but like within keeping it simple and interactive, I really heard like a focus on keeping it authentic and not like distilling down the impact of it. So that's really great. Thank you. I think. Yes.
So Roberto, and then back to this side.
Okay, so we didn't see the document until it was a draft, right? We didn't have time to co-draft it, the district to lead, and for that we're grateful. And at the same time, there is a lot of information here, maybe like 85% that's necessary for public comment, for what we're trying to accomplish. We want people to comment on the strategies. We obviously want them to see this information. It's important, right? But for this specific effort, and I don't think I heard that specific. Are you gonna have one document used with the strategies? put together. We didn't ask for that one, but maybe we could, put it together.
I do believe, that does exist because I know that's what's being translated as well.
Okay, that's what we need to share. People don't need to see the community profile. That's a lot of pages. Technical foundation, why would a community member need to have a technical foundation? These are not engineers, these are not, I don't wanna read, you know, that's like, we need to think about ourselves. What do we wanna read when it comes down to public documents? So when we're thinking about these strategies, and obviously this is also on us because we're 2 weeks in and nobody has made a comment about this yet. Right, like we should have cut this a lot sooner. This is also our fault, the committee's fault. You know, you and I should have paid more attention. So I feel like I love all of these ideas. I think in the next 20 minutes, maybe together here, we make a decision what should be on a document from here. Just take a look at it, what's important, what's not important, and make it happen. Because honestly, if I wasn't part of this committee, I wouldn't read this document. That's the truth. I would love to, Adrian, dude, I'm putting you on the spot and I'm sorry, but you know more about this than most of us here, you know, in the community side. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the draft of the SERP, but I would love to hear your thoughts and Valley Vision. We're partners now, you know, so yeah, how do we make it better? We need to think about how we make it better. I sent a screenshot to Janice today. CARP is taking a training next week with my team for how to make things more user accessible, and I love it. I love that we're going in that direction. But this is not it. We have 2 weeks. We might even need to extend it because of this, we're not gonna get any comments, honestly. That's a reality. So
Yeah. I'm hearing, reflections on this being inaccessible, this being something that most people are not gonna undertake. I'm hearing frustration over like the information being hidden behind pages and pages and pages. I think what I want to bring us back to is that's all true. And the SERP has to have certain things for CARB to consider it. It's graded on those things. And that's for CARB's analysis, for it to be able to get approved by the air district, approved by CARB, implemented. And what I'm hearing is that the SERP, while that might be what CARB needs, it doesn't fit the needs of the community.
100%.
So in this
Let me
time
add
that we
something.
have,
Before you
Yes.
continue.
absolutely,
I feel like the easiest thing to do is move the strategies to the top. We need to add the reasoning while we're putting these strategies together very succinctly in a paragraph. We're doing this because this is the reasoning we've met since 2019. We want to clean the air of Southern, in a way that people understand it. We start with the strategies and we make everything else an appendix. I don't know if CARB allows for that. Maybe we should ask. Oh, wait, where is that? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, like, if we can make everything else an appendix and people can see that this is what we need you to look at. And then the rest, if you want to learn about it, if you want to learn the technical terms, it's up to you. Well, what do you think?
so I know CARB's in the hot seat, I'll let them respond. And before that, really quick, I just want to note, this has officially been submitted, the timeline has started. And so I'm not gonna say what or what not can happen, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll pass it to them and just wanted to give that foundation of like the process is underway. We are on a time frame now.
Yeah, thanks for the questions on that. And so, at least from CARB's perspective, honestly, the air district has the most skin in the game in this. And so really what they need to do to get their board approved, that's kind of the primary goal of a lot of what's within the document. On the perspective of CARB, we've seen a lot of these CERT documents and they've been organized in all different ways. So what's important, at least for us, is yes, there is checklists and stuff. If you bury it all into appendices and what you want really important up front, feel free to organize it however you want, as long as, you know, there is that technical somewhere in there.
100%.
Right?
Okay, and thank you for saying that, I understand that we need the information in it. I used, my thought, my recommendation is to make the front and center of this document should be the strategies. And then the rest is optional for community. I think, you know, for your day job, this is important. And look, this happens at all levels of government. You know, we think that people understand as much as we do. And that they have the patience to find, okay, page 215, this is where I should start reading. That's not the reality. Okay, cool. How do we move forward? Well, what
Yes.
do you think? How do we make this better?
So I want to know, we have 10 minutes on this item according to the agenda. However, we can always extend if that's what the co-leads want to do, just noting that first. Second, James has been extremely patient, as have the other people with their placards up. And I also know that the district's name has been, you know, talked about a lot. And so before we dive deeper, I want to see if David has anything to say. Okay, cool. We'll pass you a mic and then we'll hear from James, who continues to be patient.
Last 5 words. I'm saying this with love, David. I'm sorry if I'm coming out like hot, you know, like I want to do it together. This is not, that's what we're here.
I'll just hand you this one.
I'm sorry.
No, we hear you, Roberto, and I'll definitely take that comment back to Janice, right? Part of this document is to really, you know, take the comments from the steering committee as well and then respond back to you. If it's the desire of the steering committee to make it more easier, right, put their strategy in front, because, you know, have that conversation, with Janice and with our team and then Rebecca. Or accessibility, right? Most of the strategies and stuff, right? There's 20 strategies that we'll develop, right? And so that is the meat of the document, right? And that is in the sucker stuff. So if we want to move that to the front, then I think that is a option on to what we do. But we do have the strategies that are separate, right? So if you know the desire is to just share that information, the strategies only, we have that separated from the documents.
I may have something to add, and I'm gonna pass you this mic.
David's really nice. I also want to remind everybody that this document, Janice and the team put this document together based on all of the feedback that was from the steering committee for many months and many meetings. And what David was saying is that the priority strategies came from this steering committee also. So that's something for all of you to consider. And I hear you, Roberto, with love, and also with love, you are the ambassadors of the community as well. And so, you know, part of this too, of the Air District providing information that is easily understandable for you and for your communities that you represent. I live in this community too. Is for you to also be the representative and the champion to your community to be able to interpret that information, because that document doesn't really represent all the work and the love and the passion and the arguments and everything that's happened here. You represent that. And what better way for you to share that with the community than just say, here you go, Richard, here's a 200-page document. Tell me what you think, right? It's about having that engagement. That's what we're doing too. So we're with you on this as well. We're going to association meetings, we're going to PBID meetings, we're going to all kinds of meetings. Paul and I are going to 2 other meetings on Wednesday. We've been at them since last week and on and on. So we're in this with you also. But at the same time, I also want to remind everybody that we do have a timeline. And so you can stretch, but you can't stretch too much either, because we have to continue to move forward. The longer we have the discussions, the longer it's going to create to deploy projects. So just a reminder on that.
Thank you, Marvin.
How great is it that we care this much, that we have this much to say? This is really, really rich conversation. I want to appreciate everyone's strong feelings in the room about it, because it's about serving the community and with care for improved air quality. James, you've been so patient. I want to pass it to you finally.
I'll just echo, just a little bit of the previous sentiment that, hey, I'll be the first person to say the very reason that 1,200 businesses didn't get this in their weekly newsletter is because I didn't put it in it last week. It'll be in this week. The reason that the 500 businesses along Stockton Boulevard didn't get it is because it wasn't shared with Frank Louis and the Stockton Boulevard Partnership. I'll make sure he gets it for this week. So I think that all of us need to kind of have that conversation, and then among ourselves, I'm sure that almost, aside from maybe the students in here, probably have at least access to one mailing list that's got a few hundred emails on it at minimum. Go ahead and just share it out. That's really where the work comes in on our part, and the commitment that we have all made to participate in the capacity that we have. So share it with our communities. We are the ambassadors of this project. I will say, it's not defeatist if it comes forward. It's a highly technical document and a highly technical process. The fact that we have the people that are represented in this room and the organizations that are represented in this room is also impressive and a testament to the interactions that we've had from the community. I think that it doesn't necessarily reflect poorly on the work that we, the Air District, CARB, or anybody has done if folks just decide that this might be above their level of real interest. I think that from what I'm hearing, chapters like 6, 7, and 8 of the draft SERP are really like the meat and potatoes of what folks here in this room are getting at. I do think I'm one of those purists of it. I'm maybe an hour into the document. I've got probably 2 to go. That's going to read the whole thing and give it to you. With that, I think it's really relatively straightforward. If any of you have been on this committee before, from what I've risked through so far, you're not going to be surprised or see anything that you probably haven't seen in some capacity or another. But I think that we can probably look is some more secure direction. 6, 7, and 8 are really the strategies, the enforcement measures, and the funding mechanisms. Those are the real areas that you want to get some public acknowledgement from. Have we shared this, and this is a hypothetical question, if we haven't yet, let's go ahead and look in that direction. With our local elected officials, District 6 out here, District 5 out here are both incorporated, that's City Council. We've got District 1 and District 2 from the county that are both taken in. I know Phil Cerna, Maggie Krell, Patrick Kennedy, Katie Maple, Eric Guerra. Eric Guerra is on the California Air Resources Board. He's a city council member in the city of Sacramento who is a council member or a board member for the California Air Resources Board. So, utilize the local resources that we have at our disposal right now. And really just push on all of your community groups, send them over something. If we think it would be easier, I know we've got the fact sheet and everything, something that would be easily plugged into a Canva template or a constant contact template, little image and a 1 sentence blurb, something that we can all put out there. That way nobody's got any excuse for why it wasn't in the newsletter.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James. Hearing a lot of solutions, appreciation, grace, all the above for the work that's being done and ways to continue forward. Something else I'm hearing that I really want to point out is the flexibility in messaging, right? So we've heard that this document is inaccessible to the public. It's too long. I wrote that down. And also and we heard that David is going to bring back to the district and talk about what we've discussed, right? Like that's going back, it's being heard, being considered. And what can we do in the next 2 weeks? As steering committee members, you can choose how you message it. You can say, this document is too long. Here's an FAQ. Comment. That's up to you. So you have all these tools at your hands. You have messaging that you can craft that's individual to you, like you're saying it's not accessible to the public. How do you bridge that gap? I'm hearing lots of solutions. So gratitude for that. I'm gonna stop talking so I can hear more from y'all. Richard?
I'll be brief so we can continue. Number one, I do want to echo what Jaime had said, because I have been attending as many meetings as I possibly can, and we knew these priorities were coming. We knew these strategies were coming. There were meetings where the public actually selected through putting stars. What were the areas they felt needed the prioritization? We knew all of these things. Now, where we're at today, though, is because we're seeing how all of that information is placed into a 996-page document. I think that is where our challenge is how do we break down, very, very much like James was saying, very much like what you're saying, Roberto. Okay, great. We got all this now. We know where it was. What's the meat and potatoes? Let's put it together. Let's put together a nice little calendar presentation on that. I can tell you one of the things I'm going to be doing, because at my Deerfield Mesa Grande Neighborhood Association meeting, we had a presentation, on there. I'm going to go back to those people and say, what do you think? What was the information you got? How would you like to respond? So very much like we were saying, Roberto, even if it's us saying 3 people, who are the 3 people we're going to talk to and say, here's the priorities, here's the strategies, here's what I'm asking you, so that we can bring it back. Because guess what's next after this, everybody? Implementation. And you think we're having arguments now about how we're going to get the community outreach out? How are we going to get the community to agree on what we're going to be doing on that implementation? So there's a lot of ground to cover on here, and I'm not necessarily offering solutions as much as I'm saying, Roberto, I definitely agree. Let's touch the 3 people that we each have and say, what do you think, so we can get that feedback done on the timeline in time. And then the last thing I want to add in here in regard to the messaging, I want to remind, I don't know if it was part of this group or another group, it was when I was with United Latinos and we were doing focus groups, and we were talking about air quality, and we were talking about the data and everything else that is there. And I remember, Tito, we went to the Asian Resource Center, and we were talking to those folks. I was talking to Reggie. And basically the message from the community was, we know the air quality is bad. Stop telling us the air quality is bad. What they said was, tell me how it's going to impact me financially, and maybe I'll get involved. Those are the kind of comments we want to find out from community, so we know where to touch them so that they will get involved. And then I'll end up there. I'm sorry, one more comment. 16-year-old actress worked with us. Remember I told you I'm going to come at this with the heart of an artist when we were doing some things. I remember the 16-year-old actress, I was just meeting with her again. She's 21 now. Her father is a sitting judge. And she said to me when she was 16, Richard, I'm glad you're out there fighting for immigration, fighting for social justice, fighting for civic engagement, fighting for all these things. But my generation wants to know, what good is all that if we don't have a planet to live on? So we want to make sure we're thinking about that and giving the young people their voice so that we hear what is important to them. Thank you.
And that relates back to what we heard earlier about messaging to younger communities and keeping it simple, interactive, but keeping the original intent intact. So that paired with, tell me how it's going to impact me financially, health-wise, like Morgan said, there's all these different ways we can road it back. So I saw a hand over here. Tito put his hand down. Sorry, I thought that was because you changed your mind, Tito.
What I learned today is I gotta sit in the front next time and then sit on the other side if you want to talk. This corner guy ain't getting no time over here. Go
I apologize,
talk
Tito.
fast, doesn't mean you want me next, no, apologize. Real quick, I appreciate everybody's passion. Okay, my issue is this, okay? It's not so much the content. I feel like it's the delivery, right? We're talking about getting in front of the people here. My goodness, it's been 2 years and we had a conversation about getting involved with the Mid-Autumn or Lunar New Year event, okay? Because it was conflict of interest because I have to be the president of that event. And we couldn't even get in there because there's like 20,000 people waiting for us to talk about what's important to us, right? So my problem has always been, I see Adrian out there, I see Richard Falcone, I see my Vincent brother out there, but we're standing out there and I'm like, where's the rest of the community? Where's the rest of us being out there? Because people are just talking to come at you and talk about clean air. And you know how my communities are. They're a little bit just trying reluctant, but there's so much engagement out there, right? So it's not just tabling. we really want to get involved, we should sponsor some of these events, actively be engaged in these type of events. Don't just passively say, okay, we got a table right there, $500 too much, let's give us a discount. It hurt my heart to say, damn, we gotta have no $500 to sponsor an event that I have to give a discount? Because somebody can convey that as a conflict of interest? I got SMUD, PG&E, all these organizations giving us thousands of dollars. And we're always we're always broke because it's a nonprofit event. Nobody's making money of this. If you want to reach out to the community, you gotta put some money, some effort into it. Don't expect it to come to us. And don't dumb down, the community wants something to read. They don't want us to dumb down the stuff. Give them real facts. Right? Give them real facts. Don't dumb down, just say, oh, even just GPT. They don't need all that. Give them the facts and then maybe help tailor to the language and the culture and whatnot. But what I'm saying is to say, I love you guys always been out there. But Lunar New Year's on the 14th and 15th. Be out there. Let's be intentional about it. Let's have some strategies, how we get people getting involved, fill out these questionnaires. It's not just being out there and give out flyers. And I feel so bad because there's only a few of us out there at a time. Okay, now we approve the process. It's approved now. Let's get a damn table out there. Let's sponsor the event. And whatever you guys need, I'll make it work. That's commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito. So from that, I noted down and I added on to some other thoughts. So in addition to when we talked about simple and interactive with original intent, I added facts. That's a good point, adding statistics, adding facts, not just distilling it down, but like keeping the facts there. That's easy, that's data. We've talked also about how it's gonna impact, right? We've talked about tailoring it. Tito talked about tailoring it to language, tailoring it to culture. So getting more specific, not just, I'm going to this club focuses on X, but think about the cultural elements, tailor it to the language. We have it in a bunch of different languages. We're getting there, but let's keep going. And then I think an important part that Tito talked about was not just showing up to something, but sponsoring an event and putting money into it. So an investment, a financial investment, that's another point. We can table, we can go to events. Those are on here as well, but there's different forms of investment. And I think I'm gonna analyze something and I invite you to correct me if I'm wrong. But by putting some financial investment into it, it's showing investment long-term, it's showing care, it's putting that into it. And so it's more than just showing up and saying, give me this. It's more reciprocal. I'm saying a head nod. Okay, thank you, Tito. Okay, I know that we are almost at time. So before I pass to you, I'm gonna ask the co-leads, would you like to extend, and if so, by how much?
What's your recommendation?
We have a few items to get through after this, just new business, public comment. I want to ask the committee though, like, let's do a temp check with your different color indicators. In your folders, you have like a green, that means I'm good. A yellow means need further discussion. Red means like need a lot more. So just give me a flag, like we've had a lot of really rich discussion. I want to make sure we're hearing from everyone. If we're green, that means like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna just recommend making sure that we're out of here no later than 8:10.
All right.
So, like.
That's your recommendation? I'm saying lots of green in agreement? All right, we'll get out of here by 8:10. Okay. Now I pass to you for your comment or question.
Yeah.
I still feel myself as being new, so going through this, it's a lot of information, but it's good information from when I started to where I am right now. So I'm still like learning things. I'm going to these events as well, and I'm bringing people as well. So I'm just being more specific on what it is we're looking at, what we're doing, and breaking it down, not dumbing it down, but breaking it down so that my community understands and listening to what they have to say. So I totally agree with this, and I love how we're all just like, well, here's the information. You can put it out there how you want to creatively. I love how you're talking about artistry and you can just figure it out how you want to portray this information and continue with the fact.
Thank you. I added break it down, not dumb it down. I think that's a really great way to summarize what we've been talking about. Morgan?
Okay, like I said, just so I was making it really quick. I think that all of the input that put in was really, really good. As far as for the specific topic at hand is what do we do in the next 2 weeks? I think that it was some really, really key things to takeaways. So that way we kind of land the plane real quick. I think one of the biggest key takeaways that I heard was we have these networks, we need to go to them and use them. Because James said something and I was like, hey, yeah, you're right, you know what I mean? I literally sent out thousands of emails, right? So yes, we all have these networks, use those networks. Piggyback on what Tito said, again, to land the plane, show value. Show value in these organizations and these people that are doing the work. Again, I'll just say that I relish thinking about a $20,000 tree event. And, you know, an extra dollar from too many organizations and I fundraised for that one. But again, showing value to be able to do things like that, to get people to care, but then also kind of landing the plane all the way back to what Diogene said, as we're talking about communities and culture, making it relevant, because one of the biggest things that I always say is when it comes to some of these more technical, I wouldn't even call hard conversations, I just say more technical conversations, when you're dealing with the general public that have actual real life issues. If we're talking about communities of disparity that are underserved, yes, they care about air quality, but you have to understand that that's not priority number one, and you have to find those creative ways to make them understand why it's important. Yes, you know, my child has asthma and I don't want my child to live in an asthma-ridden neighborhood, but what can I do about it if I can't afford it? So coming with solutions and not just always showing them what the problem is, and again, making it tailored so that way they can care. Cause no, we don't have to dumb it down, but you gotta make it relevant. So if it's not relevant, then it's like, you gave me information, I can't really fix it. Next, what's the next problem?
Really quick, all I was going to point out is in the interest of time and knowing that we have very capable committees, when is our next outreach subcommittee meeting? Is that February 2nd? Is that what I saw on
February
the?
9th, I believe. The second is sort of.
The SERP, well, SERP still, I mean, SERP has this is the SERP. Do we wanna grant some level of authority or some level of push to say, hey, we understandably may have missed the ball right now, and we do have a lot that we can do in the next 2 weeks that is possible, but also understanding the speed at which reality also takes precedent, that, you know, there are jobs that happen, that we all have lives that happen, that 2 weeks is not a lot of time. You know, and with all due respect to all of us, if we had spent some time talking about this back in November, we would have had time to lead into all of this. I don't wanna say we've missed the ball and jump all of our, you know, dollars into, you know, going out and getting paid media or something along that line. But do we wanna put that as a question to our SERP subcommittee of saying like, look, we're desperate at this point for some interaction. We want some interaction. I think that we can do some of the things like distilling down some of the major points that we're looking for, but as much as it would pain me to pay some of those bigger name companies, put out an ad, make it, you know, all residents in these area codes within a age of what is Facebook, 15 to or 16 to up top, politically engaged or likely to be activated from the left, right, and middle, and just send the ad out, spend a couple of $100 to get some paid media on folks that are likely to engage, that live in those communities. You know, it's a bit more of an aggressive turn, but if we're looking at quick ways to try and look at doing this, I'd say that giving some aggressive conversation to our SERP subcommittee to have that conversation when we do have some time might not be the worst idea.
Six minutes.
Yes, 6 minutes. I did hear that was a question. I'm not sure if Roberto or Vincent's hand went up first. Does anyone know?
Go ahead.
Vincent?
Okay, I'll go. I'll go after you, Roberto. Go ahead.
You said something critical here. You said proposed solutions, we're obviously calling them strategies. But I think that's the approach we take, you know, that's a great way to think about this, right? So like, why is this important? Southside Care is bad. Why? You know, we list the strategies and here are the solutions we're proposing. If we show it like that to people, I think, and I'm still stuck in the, how we're organizing the document. And it would be a lot easier to message too. So, I mean, we can connect again, let's use the SERP. I know it's a week, you know, it's a week from now, but
It'll take a week to do
media
this.
could
Right.
be,
Let's do that.
you know, like simplify it and then attach the document, you know, what do you think about this? So, yeah, this.
Vince,
Great, a lot of good stuff we talked about, and I just wanna piggyback, I think what Richard was saying about when we were at the colleges. So they had a pizza party for, it was an environmental justice, event. And we had pizza at lunchtime at Sac State, and the students came in droves, and the pizzas came in 5 pieces at a time. They went out, we had lemonade and juice drinks or whatever, but that is just one way to get people to show up, you know what I mean? And it may cost a little money, but if we had an event at CRC or City College with pizza and announce it, that's how you get people there, and and when we go there, people are talking about everything we're talking about when we're there. It's just how you get people to go show up, you know what I mean? And I think those are great ideas. Today's the 26th, the Lunar New Year Festival is the 14th. I will be there because I volunteered to go, and I'll have the tabletop cover, the standing banner, some literature, but I'm just curious, is the Air District gonna be tabling with us there this year? I didn't know if we invited them to join us yet, or do we need to? But you guys were the biggest part of the tabling last time we were there, I'll tell you right now.
okay, I want to thank everyone. Morgan's already landed the plane, so I'm not gonna rehash it. It's 8:06, we committed to 8:10. I want to encourage y'all to continue these conversations in other avenues. And I'm gonna pass it to David to go over what some of those upcoming avenues are for continued conversation through district, or new business and upcoming meeting topics.
Yeah, just, next slide, please. So as always, we have office hours, by appointment, if you're interested, please let us know, contact the clerk, email, to schedule office hours. And the next, upcoming meetings, is the third February, October 2nd. The hour subcommittee will be moved to February 9th, due to a holiday, on that third Monday. The next meeting is on the 23rd, February 23rd. Just one more topic that, I just want to bring up to the steering committee. We, have also been reached out, by, a researcher to, Suzanne, to talk about the, AB 600 process and how we're sharing information, between their district and the steering committee. She'll be attending our outreach subcommittee and their subcommittee to kind of present more information on what she's doing. And then eventually, I believe on February the 23rd, she'll be out in person to talk with the steering committee. So more to come on that.
Thanks, David. All right, do we have any public comments? If we do, thank you for staying late. Yes. Let's take your mic. Yes.
Beach Patrol.
Hi, everyone. My name is Laurel Smith with Valley Vision. Just a few announcements from us. Our CAP luncheon event is on Friday. This Friday, we encourage everyone to come out from 12 to 1:30. And Air District will be presenting on the SERP, and there'll be a lot of members. There'll be elected officials there. There'll be business organizations, a lot of CEOs represented there as well. So great opportunity to connect with people. And I know that co-leads will be there as well presenting. So I encourage you all to come out this Friday. And then also we are continuing to work with the outreach subcommittee. We have scheduled some meetings. We'll be scheduling the meeting for February, and we sent out a doodle poll to all of you. So Please let us know when your availability is and they'll schedule that calendar invite. And also, some updates. We are finalizing an RFP so that we can contract with a graphic designer to help with 8617 materials and also a website designer to help update your guys' website. So we're working with Richard to create an RFP for that so that we can start getting that out to get people to apply for that opportunity. And we're also working with Morgan, a few others to work on recruiting community ambassadors. So those are some of the things we're working on right now. Please come out to the CAG meetings if you want to be involved in some of that decision-making process.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, you're good. Thank you, Laurel. And I see Adrian also has a hand up, so I'm giving you the mic.
Thank you. Sorry for 2 comments from Valley Vision folks. I'm Green Red from Valley Vision. I just wanted to, I wrote down a couple thoughts about like some of the serve outreach ideas that have been floated. So I'll just read them and, you know, take them what they are. So I do recommend reading the document, or at least looking at the story map or skimming the sections that James mentioned. You know, there's just looking at it. There's just a few tables that really like this whole 300-page document get kind of summarized into. I was looking at like page 186, for example, on my phone, and I was like, okay, like a lot of the stuff is just in this table. So I was gonna recommend that maybe we work with the Sac Metro Air District's comms department and just pull out the key tables and create like and I think James was coming onto this, create like a social media post that you'd see on Instagram, like 6 to 10 of those square slides with all the key tables. With the final slide is this, I do a comment and create that, and it doesn't have to look very nice, it just has to have all these pre-existing tables so you can do it quickly. And then, you know, you're talking about paid social media, just so happens that our CAG grant has a line item for a few $1,000 for paid social media. So talk to Laurel, if, you know, if we can get that posted and get it, you know, get it all programmed like you were saying for this specific geography, like you can in Facebook and Instagram. And let's put some money into it and let's just get people seeing this specific social post that we can craft. So just an idea, hopefully, you know, the Air District's comms folks can help with that, so.
Thanks, Adrian. Hearing some appreciation for that from the steering committee members. It is 1 minute over, but it was in service of public comment, so I'm not sorry. And I will pass it to one of the co-leads to close out the meeting.
I have one more thing to say. I wanted, if you guys didn't notice that, at the Martin Luther King March, we were there on, Martin Luther King Day on the Monday. Valley Vision showed up and we were the Peace Patrol crew, in the march, right behind the main vehicle. So yes, we were there and thank you guys so much for leading the way. Thank you.
All right, it is 8:12 right now, and we are adjourning the meeting. Okay, so what do we want?
And that part.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying late. Thank you for your discussion. Thank you for getting the cert out, getting comments.
Thank you, Greta.
Yes, make sure to submit your votes to the ballot box or do it online by the 30th at 5 p.m. Please make sure to submit